We're off to a great start.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? This is the Bogey Free Podcast for the WGC Mexico. I'm your host, Evan Cheney. Today, joined by Matt and Anthony. How you doing today, guys?
Doing great, Ev. Good to talk to you. Happy that you were able to join us off of Wimbledon. And, now we can have a great show.
Is it a bye week on the professional tennis tour, or what's going on there?
It's just a break week. We gotta rest our legs somehow before the storm.
This is true. Yeah, it's not exactly tennis weather right now.
Wait, Evan, where do you live? Serious question.
I live right outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So like 10, 15 minutes from what's technically called Philadelphia.
Gotcha.
From Franklin
some of the
Mills
stuff,
and
that you send in the group chat has me getting like a Canadian vibe. And
well, that's because like he talks about CFL like every fucking like fourth message that he sends is something about some reference to CFL that no one else gets.
I get a lot of eggplants and the Canadian flag in the group chat.
That's essentially it.
You know what the sad thing is? That's pretty much all my conversations with everyone. Because that's just how I am with my friends. Like, that's just normal. It's not just what it is.
That's awesome.
That's wild.
And the saddest thing is I've only been to Canada once. That was 11 years ago.
That's not that sad.
How old were you? Like 4? What do you mean 11 years ago?
So I guess I was 11, 12 years old.
Oh.
Went to Toronto, went to Niagara Falls, went to this thing called Busker Fest.
Oh,
I don't remember what it actually was, but I just remember it was called Busker Fest.
Sounds very Canadian.
There we go. All right. Well, the more you know, that too. Let's keep it going.
We do need to go a little bit more south of the border than this.
Yes.
All right.
Listener League? Let's hit the Listener League real quick. So we had Raj 102A take down the Listener League. Pretty tightly contested battle there. Only cleared the field by 1.5 points. So did pretty well there. Surprisingly, JT didn't really factor into the top 2. So not a lot of movement right there at the end, but Danimal Unhinged looks like he might have dropped out on the backstretch there. So good on them for cashing this week. Underwhelming performance for myself. But overall a break-even week for me. So I guess I'll just I'll take it and move on. How was your week, Amico?
I mean, it was okay. I pretty much broke even. I had the worst 6 of 6 of all time because Adam Hadwin forgot how to play golf over the weekend.
Oh, man, double 77s. Like, what?
Totally brutal. He was like -3 or -5 up until like halfway through the second round, and it was just terrible. So forget it. And then I just gave it all back and more, doubly more in NASCAR. So
yeah, well, that's what you get for straying outside of the PGA ropes. That's what you get.
I mean, sometimes you just got to be a part of those 19 car pileups. Anyway, let's talk about Chapultepec a little bit here.
There you go. Nailed it.
I had like a 50-50 shot based on my past pronunciation history. But Anthony, talk about
generous.
If you can check the tape. The tape is not good on me. But Anthony, talk about some of the stats you're looking at here to kind of build a player pool for this week and things you're looking at.
Oh, I mean, we want to build a player pool this week, huh? Birdies made from last year was pretty important. I mean, it's a no-cut event, so like you can't unless you withdraw, obviously, like you're gonna finish the week. So it really just comes down to who's gonna score. So you really need birdies. Guys that are good on par 3, strokes gained on the par 3, strokes gained on the par 4. Those are both appearing in my regression modeling, as was strokes gained approach. So those are the stats that I'm looking at. I mean, pretty basic stuff. Like you just have a bunch of like top golfers and a couple guys who like slack their way in, and that's kind of how that's how we roll. That's Bush event.
Yeah, Matt, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, that pretty much makes sense. I mean, it's a short field. What do we got? 72 or 73 guys in. No cut, and it's kind of, I don't know. There's not really a lot to love all the way down at the bottom, just because like the top couple of guys on these random tours get, entrance into this, but they're not really going to factor in. So you're probably really looking at like, I don't know, generously, maybe 40 guys, 45 guys that are actually like worth even considering. And then probably really only like 15, maybe 20 at the most when you really dive into it. So a lot of ball striking stuff. And just like you mentioned, upside, like guys who are going to put birdies together, maybe get a couple of streaks, maybe find some eagles on the course, stuff like that.
Okay, well, let's talk about some golfers then. So talk about some more cash game-esque players. I mean, if you are playing cash games on a no-cut slate. So yeah, I'll throw it to you guys. Who are you liking at this top range here of golfers?
Yeah, so as far as like chalky options go, JT and DJ sort of popped in the first run of the ownership projections. I think just because everybody's talking about them right now. JT is like, I don't really know how you could, even though he's the most expensive golfer, like I don't know how you could call for a fade of him. Like he's just so ridiculously good right now. Like this year, he's averaging almost 2 strokes per gained on approach per round, which is like, I mentioned it last night on the Sweat. Like that's like Tiger in his prime. Like nobody, I think there's 4 other guys that are even averaging over 1 stroke per round on approach. Like he's in another stratosphere right now. So I'm definitely going to have a ton of JT regardless of ownership. And then with DJ, I don't know, obviously like he fits everywhere. Like he can play well regardless of what the course looks like, but I don't know. Like, what do you think, Anthony? I feel like he doesn't necessarily look, he just doesn't look particularly comfortable. I don't know if he's like still coming back from the travel. Like I know he had a top 10 last week, but like that first round, he didn't seem into it. And I just feel like I'm okay with not really playing too much of DJ again this week. What are your thoughts on those 2 top guys?
I mean, I'm kind of surprised, I guess, that DJ is going to be chalk, but like both of these dudes have raked here already. Like DJ was 7th last year, won it 2 years ago. JT has 2 top 5. So like they both played this course pretty well, and the course results I think matter a lot more when like only a handful of guys, maybe not a handful of guys, but like only so many of the guys have even played here before, like, let alone like played well here. So, I still think that both of those guys are in good form. So I don't mind using them. Like for me, honestly, like I just think like the no cuts, it's like way more advantageous to just like differentiate. Like this is a week I'm trying to go low in terms of ownership. And I don't even think I necessarily need to spend up into that range. Like the field is so good that the guys in like the 8K range, 9K range are still like super talented golfers, even like the 7K range. So
go
ahead.
We're so polite. No, I was just going to say, as far as like lineup construction goes, I think that a lot of people will gravitate towards one of these 2 guys and then dip down like still in the expensive range, but not like, like try to get 2 of maybe, I don't know, from like Tiger and up. And I think you could probably differentiate yourself by only taking one of those guys and a cheap guy that you like, and then going kind of balanced in the middle. That's kind of my thought process so far. The few lineups that I've built already. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it makes sense. I mean, like I said, like I think balanced is going to be like a GTO type strategy this week. I like it, and as a result, I'll probably be underweight on both of these guys. If DJ was going to be like a little less chalky, just because of people kind of just gravitating to JT, then I'd be like, okay, like I'll ram DJ at under 20%. But if that's not going to happen, I'm kind of just like I'm good with just like avoiding this area. And again, it's not because I don't think those guys are good. Like both of those are my top 2 golfers in terms of how they rate out at the course. I just don't think I need to. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I think from like a raw, like saying he's going to be owned like X%. It doesn't really, like, you could throw that out this week. There's not enough guys where like a normal number would make sense. Like they're probably going to approach 30% owned. Definitely going to be over 20, both of them, I would imagine. So when you think of it like that, how ownership concentrates up here, I think that it's, they're definitely the top of the sort of Tiger and up range as far as ownership goes.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
So, what about you? Have you are you fading either of these guys?
I mean, for tournaments, you kind of have to make some kind of stance, because in a no-cut event, these two are definitely going to be at least 25% owned apiece. So you have to make some stance one way or another. I'd say I'd rather have DJ over JT, but it's really not,
All right. Yeah, I mean, we're obviously splitting hairs. Like, they're both supremely talented golfers. So if you're going to tell me like, no, I'd rather go all in on one of them, I'm not going to be like, you're a fucking idiot, because
you can't.
They're both good at golf.
You can't go wrong with either.
Yeah. As we go down a little bit further, Tiger and Tommy Fleetwood are sort of not necessarily like the locks to be the most owned out of this range, but I think that they're kind of the most interesting to talk about. Like, Tiger popped a little bit, but his potential ownership every week, just because people want to talk about him for clicks, like, will always, in the model that I have, will always sort of like be a little bit inflated in the beginning of the week.
Well, rightfully so.
Yeah, of course. Then it's like Tommy, and there's a few other guys that we'll talk about in the pivot section, but I'm curious how you feel about both of those guys, Amico.
I mean, it's music to my ears that you're saying that these guys aren't locks to be the chalk, because officially a brand guy, Tommy Fleetwood, I think I played him like every week. Like, what does he have to do for the price to go up? Like, I think he's just a straight up good golfer. Maybe doesn't have like the super elite range of outcomes. I mean, I have him 11% to finish in the top 5 in DraftKings scoring in terms of just like a bucket he'd sit in. Like, he still has a good upside, and obviously very safe. 82%. I have him to be in the top 25 in DraftKings points. So above Fleetwood at 8,200. I mean, he's pretty much, not to like, I know this is what we end the show with, but like, I don't really see a reason to not play him in a lineup. Like, I'm probably going to start just about every lineup with it. And Tiger, I'm always good with fading. Yeah. Because, I mean, listen, it's good that he'll be able to hit it like a mile because it's in Mexican altitude. But I just don't think I want to do it, especially in a smaller field where like if people are going to play Tiger, like, they'll play him this week when there's just like not as many options in terms of like raw number.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can split Tiger out for 4 days. Right. There's an appeal there.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, there is a somewhat of a concern, like, he's never played here before, and like, he's going to see a huge bump in ownership from what we saw last week. Like, when I wrote him up last week, I said like, that was probably going to be the last time I could write him up as a pivot for the whole year. And like, once we hit the Florida swing, he's just going to be like uber chalk in the next few weeks. So, I like his sort of range of outcomes better than like, I'm completely off of Koepka this week. I know that's not really a surprise to anybody, but I like Tiger a ton more than him. But as far as Fleetwood goes, like, he's the top in my model. I have him at a 73% chance to hit the top 15 in DraftKings scoring, which was the best in the model. So as far as course fit goes, you got to like him. And on top of that, like, the potential for him to go out and like shoot a course record and get like a 62 or a 61 it's not out of the realm of possibility. Like, he's more than capable of stringing birdies and finding a couple eagles. So I'm definitely going to be pretty heavily invested in Tommy this week too.
Love it. This is just word porn to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's great when we can sync up like this. It's wonderful.
Well, once we get to the Keegan portion of the show.
Is Keegan even? He's in this event. He's not in the Puerto Rico.
Keegan's not invited to this event. What are you nuts? No, he is. He is in this event.
Yeah, I saw him. I'm not crazy, am I?
What is he like? 5,100.
He's 7K.
Okay,
yeah, I'm up.
We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, so let's jump down to our next portion of the chalk here. We have Matt Kuchar at 77. We have CH3 at 78. How are you guys feeling on those two?
Cooch Daddy. I mean, he has officially reconciled his sins with the caddy, and I just feel like he's due to bounce back. Now, I mean, Kuchar is always a good play, right? Like Kuchar is in like that Charles Howell, like Adam Hadwin tier of like just very reliable dudes.
Right.
And maybe you don't need like a reliable dude like those two dudes, but it sure as hell doesn't hurt. And I feel like the upside of both of those guys has kind of been like very much undervalued. Like multiple top 10s this year already between the two of those guys. They played really good golf. So, I mean, I think for me, I'm gonna lean Kuchar just because of his play here. Pretty sure this is Howell's first year. I could be wrong. Kuchar 58th last year, not great. 23 before that. Howell has not played here yet before, so I think given that, I'll just take Kuchar. But I'm just a fan of reliable dudes. I don't care if it's a no cut. Like you said, Matt, like people are going to be taking like a lot of risks this week.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just a lot of implied value in taking these guys because they're still not. It's not like you're paying a lot for them. Like they're still in the 7K range. Like the people are going to play over him. Like people are going to play Keegan over him. You know what I mean? Like are you really picking up upside by playing Siwoo Kim over reliable dude Matt Kuchar? I don't.
You can't doubt Siwoo.
Listen, he's been great, but I'm just saying, like, they're still at the same price. Like, it's not like 2 weeks ago when it's like, oh, Matt Kuchar's 8,600 and Siwoo's 7,100. Like, who are you gonna play? Okay, I get that, but they're still like the same price. Like, there's not enough savings at this event, you know, unless you want to play like the Web.com guys, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of like a dirty little secret that Howell actually has been showing upside. Like he's had more than 80 points, DraftKings points in each of his last 5 events.
He's a stud.
Like even when, you know, he finished 34th at the Desert Classic and he still had 86.5 DraftKings points. Like you don't think of Howell like that, but he is putting birdies together. He is figuring out, you know, ways to score. And it's not just finding a cut with him right now. He's playing pretty well. So I'm good with both those guys. Like I feel like you could start pretty much all your lineups with those two and Fleetwood and mix and match around them and feel like really good about it.
I love it.
Yeah. So
you just get me so well, Jones.
Yeah, and then as far as like the only guy that I see getting like somewhat popular below 7K is probably going to be Griot. He seems like underpriced to me, even though I'm not like terribly interested in him. It just seems like he never gets priced the way that he should. It seems like he's always like $500 or $600 cheaper than he's supposed to be on DraftKings for whatever reason. So, what are your thoughts there? Any interest or no?
I don't hate him, but there's one other guy in this price range that I like a lot more.
Ooh, professional tees.
And it's just how I do. And if Griot's going to be owned or like has a chance to be owned, I'll just play the not owned guy that I like more.
Yeah,
and just go super heavy. Like this is like I said, this is a week to just like play the guys you like. And like I'm not going to play a lot of bankroll on this kind of an event. Like I'll just play some GPPs and have fun with it. So
hard disagree. I am emptying the clip in cash this weekend.
Dude, no cuts.
Why? Yeah, like
no cuts are the best contests.
The best.
Oh my gosh.
Makes me so happy. Like
bless your heart. I hope you win everyone. I hope that everyone that plays you has like JT and like Eric Van Rooyen in their lineup.
Right. Yeah. No, that's it. Like I guarantee if I post, I don't know, if I post 50 head-to-heads, like someone's gonna have fucking like Ryan Fox or Kyle Stanley or like just somebody who doesn't really like. I don't know. It's hysterical scrolling through cash lineups on weeks like this.
Would you agree though that the margins in scoring for like the not scrub guys are really tight though? Like the difference between I don't know, the difference between Sergio and Gary Woodland this week.
Well, I mean that's astronomical. So
like
I don't know.
what? Sorry, I shouldn't have used Gary.
That's just downright offensive.
Sergio and Patrick Reed, they're the same price. They're $8K. Like, I have Sergio as a better play than Patrick Reed, but like all Patrick Reed has to do is put in like one birdie, and he could outscore Sergio. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It just seems very tight to me.
Yeah, and this is, these no-cut events in small fields. You're just predicting finishing position. Like on a given week, DraftKings points are usually correlated like about 75% to finishing position. It's probably closer to like 90% on a week like this. So don't get excited on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like you just have to wait until Sunday to even check like you're currently winning. Good.
Well, we had to wait till Sunday to even get past the cut this week.
This is true. Exactly. All right, real quick before we jump in to the GPP pivots and me pimping the listener league, Matt Chastain in the chat was just asking if you guys think it's viable to fade 10K and up in general in cash this week.
Yes.
I think that's viable every week. Like I think you could load up on 9K guys and feel pretty good about your lineup in general. Because
the most balanced lineup possible is probably going to do very well here.
Like, look at these guys in like the 8K range, like Fleetwood, Leishman, Finau, Gary 7,900, Sergio. Like these guys have been fuego. Like it's not like we're taking risks. Like Mark Leishman's been like one of the best golfers on tour so far this year. 8,700.
Yeah, I might just do like I might limit my player pool and build like 20 lineups for the mini max and just do from like Gary to Tiger and just make as many lineups as I can out of those guys, and I would feel pretty comfortable with that. Like any of the lineups 100%. It might spit out.
100% agree.
So, all right, before we hit the pivots, I want to remind you guys you can get into the listener league again this week. There's about 10 or 12 spots left, so make sure you jump in if you're listening to this on your way to work on Wednesday or whatever. The link will be in the iTunes description. It is, I believe I just put it in this YouTube description, and I tweeted it out. For whatever reason, I did it on my phone, and
I love that you're not sure.
What?
I love that you're not sure. Like, I think I put it in.
Oh yeah, no. Well, because I've never put in a link on the YouTube, but I had a couple extra minutes because I was waiting for you fools to be ready. So I put in the link, but I don't know if it's like clickable or if it's just like you have to copy and paste it. Like I don't want people working too hard. So just go to my Twitter and you'll find it. Just make sure you actually go into the right listener league. It's the one that I'm in. I made 2 because my phone sucks and I clicked it twice. So look and make sure you're in the one that I'm in, or do both because who really gives a shit? But the one that I'm in is the official one. So make sure you get into that one at least. All right.
I still can't get over the fact you said.
I mean, like the YouTube description.
No, like you said. No, like I know what you said, but like it's like it came out as like the YouTube, like what my mom says.
Yeah, you said it like a 50-year-old woman.
All right. So this has been Bogey Free. I'm gonna have 2 new co-hosts next week. We'll talk later. Assholes. All right, whatever. Let's move on. Let's hit some pivots.
Yeah. So we'll start in this top range here. Let's see. So where are you guys going here for tournaments?
Anthony, hit it. Let's see what you got. Because there's only one answer in this range.
9,500 and up. My answer is John Rahm. Is that correct?
Yes, obviously.
Let's go.
You shitting me? Like,
let's go. 10-7, boy.
I called for the win last night on the sweat, so I need to stick with it.
Oh, good. I didn't even watch you, and I knew that. So that's we're in sync.
Thanks for the support.
I was working. I mean, Rahm is a machine. Machine. You know how many top tens how many times? Like Rahm's top 10% in the last 3 months, 100%. He's been in the top 10 every time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 6 events, all top 10s. Finished third here 2 years ago. He is freaking ready, dude. And the fact that I love that people are gonna pay the extra 1,000 for JT and DJ. Go ahead. I'm just going to load up on Rahm Goat. I never get to play him. He's always too owned. He's always I'm not sure I love him. I'm in. This is the week. I'm loading up.
There you go. That's it. Obviously, you could play any of these guys, but Rahm's the answer.
Right. They're all good golfers, but Rahm is the
best. Exactly.
I don't know. Would you guys make a case for Bryson DeChambeau in this situation?
This is gonna be really stupid, and it's probably gonna bite me because I'll probably end up winning. But I could actually picture the altitude short circuiting him and him trying to be too cute about stuff and fucking it up somehow. I don't really think that's gonna happen, but it's definitely there's a non-zero chance that he's just his brain breaks because of the altitude, and he has some calculation going.
Guys, hear me out. I'm going to putt this week with the flag stick.
Yeah.
That's a hot take in today's PGA.
So, no, I don't think that's actually going to happen, but it wouldn't shock me if it did. No. But, yeah, I would just rather – I'll find the 700 and play Rahm because he's going to win.
Okay, that's fair.
I like it. I love the unbridled confidence.
That's it. It's not hard dots to connect here. It's an easy game when you think about it.
I'll just take your word for it because sometimes I feel the same way, and I lose my college tuition for the semester.
Oh, well, that's not great.
Your college only costs $200.
I wish. That's a book on a good day. So all right, so we'll jump down here in the pricing range. I actually do have a guy that I like at 9,100, Xander.
Yes,
he actually, if you look on Fantasy National right now, he has the best odds of winning this tournament. How do you guys feel about that?
Wait, as far as what? The simulator?
Is it the oh yeah, I forgot to clarify.
I was like, wait, what book has him as the favorite? Because I need to go bet book. JT wherever that is.
That's a bad book at that point. But so what would you make of the simulation saying that?
I mean, sometimes math is wrong. It's okay.
I don't know. I mean,
18th last year. He's been good. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's if you told me Sunday evening that he won the event, I wouldn't be shocked. But I don't.
Yeah, and
he has the best chance to win.
This is the type of thing that he shows up for. He always shows up in majors. He'll play well when another a solid group is in the field. So I guess that could make some sense, but it's not like he's been flawless lately. His current form doesn't make me say oh my God, I need to roster him. He hasn't hit 70% of greens in his last 3 starts. He's putted very well, but that's not something that I'm going to rely on. He's another guy that just got eaten up by these par 3s last week. He was 8 over. DJ was 8 over. Tiger was 9 over just on the par 3s last week. It's just insane. So I'm not. I wouldn't fault you for playing him, but he's not a guy that I'm going all in on because the guy that's $100 cheaper than him is the answer.
We are on the same page, Matt. Maybe I will play. You have me feeling so much better about this tournament.
Decky always scares me though.
No, Hideki's back. Hideki's back, man. People forget how good he was from going 2016 into 2017 when he was just winning like half of his starts and just like demolishing everybody. Like that wrist injury that he was dealing with must have been some real shit. And like I feel like he's fully back now. Like it would not surprise me at all if he like strung a couple wins together like heading into the summer right now. So $9,000 for him, I will take all day long.
This is amazing. This is like the best podcast I've ever had. Like we're in agreement. we like Decky Bot. We like Rom.
I gotta do something to stir some controversy here.
You know I'm in on
There's
Leishman.
too much.
Huge Leishman fan this week.
Yeah.
All right, well
too good.
I like Leishman too, but I wrote up Cam Smith as top Australian, so we could argue about that.
Cam Smith, he's in this field?
What?
Come on, man.
Dude,
Cam Smith gave me like the friggin' shits this weekend. Like he was so up and down. I mean, it was that kind of an event, but it was like lost in the had we suck was Cam Smith going like 3 over the last like 3 holes.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, that's a valid point, but I just feel like I don't know.
He's not in this range. He's 7,400.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I get what you're saying, but it was a top Australian bet. So,
gotcha.
And there's only like 4 of them, and the other 2 guys are from like the Australian PGA that they're just gonna get like romped. So I figured I'd find some value there, but whatever. Yeah, no, I can get behind a little bit of Leishman. What are we going down to here? 8,500?
8K
or 8K? So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm playing Finau.
He's 8,900. You didn't even have to look.
Yeah, that's just assumed.
What are we going down to?
Both of you like can go fuck yourselves. Like, what's happening right now? Why is there a mutiny happening? The next guy.
The mutiny's been in the works for a long time.
The next guy that I was going to mention was Patrick Cantlay, so I wanted to make sure that's where we were going. And there's nobody else. You know, we already mentioned Tommy, so I was hoping that we could talk about him again. But yeah, Cantlay and Finau, I think you can put together pretty comfortably in lineups too. Yeah, and then obviously the GOAT plays right under 8,000. So do you like anybody else here, Amico?
Not in the mid 8K range, no.
No Spieth love?
Oh, Spieth has the worst like range of outcomes projection. Like,
but that's the best. Like that's what we want.
No,
it is.
And the Spieth was plus 10 on Sunday?
Yeah, shot 81, but that doesn't count.
Listen, before you tell me it doesn't count. He's done this like the last 3 tournaments he's played in, where like he's been like pretty good on like the Thursday and Friday.
Disagree.
And we've been like, oh, Spieth is back, and then on the weekend he sucks.
No, not true.
You guys jinx him. That's what it is.
Again, if you watched last night, you would know, Anthony, that he went from like 54 shitholes to like 36 shitholes to like realistically he had like 12 bad holes. Like he started off fine on Sunday. Like he just didn't quite, he got a little tired. Maybe his tum-tum hurt. Like who knows what happened.
So your argument is that he's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, like he's gotten significantly better from when he had one good round at Pebble or whatever it was, right? Like we can agree on that.
That's fair.
And the putter hasn't been, like it doesn't seem like he is completely lost and like still has the yips now. So that's ideal, right? Like I think that's a good thing. And he's hitting more greens. Like if you took out Sunday, I'm sure he hit like 70 to 75% of his greens last week. He hit 64%, but I'm just saying. Whatever,
I'm not going to play him. There's too many other guys that I like.
It was literally the first 12 holes on Sunday that he sucked. And then he found some mojo. He went 2 under on the last 5 holes. So obviously he found something.
He has to be back now.
No, everybody else can do it. I can't be like the film grinder for a second and be like, he found his swing on the last 4 holes. Like these guys talk about all the time. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I literally, like the math person in me just assumes that golf is like 80% variance. So it's like I just don't even like the swing stuff doesn't even compute to me because I'm like his swing could be good and he could still friggin' spray it because that's just like how golf is sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I mean, listen, I respect your golf opinions very much. I'm sorry I didn't watch the show. This has been a clear sore point for you.
Well, I mean, I rarely get the call. Obviously, like fucking Mayo was sick yesterday. Like Reed was in California. Jeff,
to be clear, you
Jeff
didn't
was
text me
doing
that you were
hockey. Like there were 17 people before they got to me, and Pat from Tour Junkies hopped on too. So I was in good company, but like they're not knocking down my door. So I thought you'd support, but I guess not. It's fine.
Well, every team needs their Brian Scalabrine.
I mean, just shoot me a message the next time you're on, and maybe I'll check it out. Help me help you.
All right. So can I talk about Gary now?
Yeah, we have to after all this show talk.
All right. So Gary Woodland is obviously the GOAT, but since the fall swing, he's made 8 starts and has 6 top 10s, and 21 out of his 31 rounds have been in the 60s. So just fire up all of the Gary Woodland at 7,900 in this field. Don't care. 7,900 is egregious for him. He's just striking it too well. There's no reason why he should be like, I don't know. He could easily be Cantlay's price. No,
you're 100% right. Woodland is in the tier of golfers that is just routinely underpriced. Like there's no reason for him to be as low. I will be playing him in bunches for sure. Same with Matt Kuchar, and I'm gonna sprinkle in some Sergio because I do like Sergio this week as well. But
this is going to be a tough range as far as ownership goes. Like I can see my projections from Sergio to Kuchar like could be completely nailed or like completely wrong. Like all these guys could be like sort of, it could go pretty flat, or people could really gravitate towards like a Poulter or a CH3 or a Kuchar or whatever. But I think this range is pretty interesting as far as ownership goes. Like if there's a clear chalk option out of these guys, I wouldn't mind fading them for a Gary or just like loading up on Howell and Kuchar.
I completely agree.
All right. Good. You should.
Take it back.
All right. What say you here? Have you like anybody in this 7 to 8K range?
I mean, no one pops out specifically as like a special, like no one that you guys haven't talked about already, right? Like obviously Woodland.
I do want to mention like Hatton was pretty bad, obviously last week.
Oh yeah.
And apparently he's dealing with some sort of an arm injury.
Yeah.
So if you were considering playing Hatton, like I'm not, because I don't think I've ever rostered him because he's just like a supremely punchable face. But I'm not. I was never gonna play him. But if you were, just beware. Like there's some risk there with his current with his health right now.
Mm-hmm.
So just throwing it out there.
Anyone else worth discussing in this range, or you want to go down to like the low 7s?
No, and again, there's only one answer below 7,000.
Ooh. Okay. Well. Ooh. All right. If we hit this, we have to enter we're entering the Thunderdome. Is it Brandon Grace?
No.
Womp womp.
I went real crazy on the top South African play. I don't even want to talk about it right now.
I love it.
Well, you have to say something now.
Yeah, I need to know.
Let's just suffice to say it's not Oosthuizen or Grace.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
It's Richard's turn. Who is the answer down here? Because the answer for me below 7K is very clearly Brandon Grace. So I'm really curious to know what your answer is.
No, the answer is Bjerregaard.
Who?
Lucas Bjerregaard.
Oh yeah, he's in yellow on my sheet, which indicates I know nothing about him.
He's in yellow. So
Yeah,
he's
do
51st
tell.
in the world right now. Doesn't really play a ton over here. He's sort of like I don't know if I've really talked about it too much on the show, but like I know Anthony, we've talked about like some of these Euro guys can kind of be a blind spot for us every once in a while.
Oh yeah, for me, 100%.
You know, because the stats aren't always loaded. Like, you know, when you're on Fantasy National, sometimes the Euro stuff isn't there. Labs has some of it, but even that can be a little sketchy sometimes. So it's one of those things where you might be shooting in the dark a little bit. So I dug into him a little bit. He's hit 2/3 of his greens in regulation in 13 of his last 14 events. And he's been in the top 10 6 out of his last 11 events. So he's been playing well. And at 6,500, and you're guaranteed that he plays the whole weekend, like why, if you want to dive down this low, like why not take a shot on a guy who's been performing that well recently? That's kind of my thought process here.
Okay. I buy it. Like I said, I just have no opinion because I have no idea who the guy is. So.
Yeah. So whatever. Again, this is not a cash play. This is not like, you know, you're going like
emptying the clip on this one.
It's like
I wouldn't take out a second mortgage on the house.
If I make 20 lineups, like if I max the birdie this week, like he'll be in 3 of the lineups.
3. That still sounds like too many.
All right. Well, you know, I've been wrong before, and it'll probably happen again. Like, you know, Harkins was just one of the worst calls of my entire like show career. So it happens. I whiff every once in a while, but Bjerregaard, I think, is striking it well enough. And if he catches a hot putter, I think he could be pretty decent. Especially because nobody's going to have him. Like he's going to be 4% owned, maybe.
Probably less than that. I mean, I'd say 1 to 2.
Yeah.
And all that's probably going to be you.
Yeah, hopefully.
This has been a great show.
Oh, man.
Really happy Evan's back.
Oh, Matt just asked in the chat, is Hatton's face more punchable than Willett? Like, that's 100% yes.
See,
neither face is as punchable as Joey Logano's. So.
This is also
true. No. No face is as punchable as Joey Logano or Kyle Busch. If we're expanding our horizons here.
Yeah, I think as far as European golfers go, Hatton is like just the absolute goat of punchable faces. I can't really think of anybody else who even comes close.
Not off the top of my head. I wouldn't.
No.
He's a hate the face. I can see it.
All right. Let's what do you say we hit some cash locks here and call it a night?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Amico,
I think I'm going to have you go first because I feel like you forced me to go first last week.
I feel like you said that the last like 3 weeks. I mean, I don't care. I'm going to go anyway because the answer is Fleet Goat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say Leishman only because I don't know how often I'll go up to Rahm.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think for me, it is Rahm and Fleetwood like too much expensive. I mean, Fleetwood's 8,200. I think.
No, I don't think it's too
reasonable.
expensive. I hate when I say like, oh, this guy's a lock, and then I'm building my teams, and I'm like, I don't think I want 10-7 in my lineup. Like, I think I just want like all the good guys from like 8 to 9K. And then I feel like a jerk because all the listeners are like, hey, in the listener league, you didn't even play Rahm. You've never gotten such a complaint. I'm just saying that's how it works in my head.
Oh, I've gotten those complaints before. So
that's when you know you've made it.
Well, then I don't want to make it anymore. Then.
All right, I'll take DJ and CH3.
Solid.
Yeah.
We've been. I think we've been pretty good as far as cash locks go. Like I mean, I haven't been tracking you guys, but like
Just so you've been doing well.
No, but I don't. I feel like I haven't been like, oh, fuck, like I can't believe like one of them said this guy. Like, just for transparency, like it's 12 of 14 cuts, and I've had 9 guys in the top 20 so far out of this section here. So I think we're getting pretty good at least picking 2 guys. We just need to round out the last 4 guys in our lineups to start doing a little better.
We'll have the nuts.
Got to start somewhere.
But exactly. 2 ain't bad.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for us. This has been Bogey Free for WGC Mexico. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes under Bogey Free. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, Bogey Free. And make sure to follow us all on Twitter. I think the Twitter handles are all in the description, I believe. Yep. All right. And if we're not winning all the money this week, we hope you guys do. So good luck in your contests this week.
See you.